Hi, I'm Louise and I'm here to talk about why I have chosen to start an astrology business. So my relationship with astrology began when I was quite young, a child at primary school. My mother had a book about astrology and she also had some tarot cards, and I remember her telling me, like, don't mess with these things because they're not toys. And of course, when she wasn't around, I did mess with those things. And I felt some kind of connection actually with the book about astrology and the tarot cards, and I was interested. And I remember reading about Virgos because I knew that I was a Virgo sun because my birthday is the 22nd of September. It's the last day of Virgo. And I was a little bit disappointed actually because what I read about Virgo didn't really fit with me at all. And I had friends who were Virgo girls at school, and they were so radically different from me. I also didn't feel that there was really a connection there. I didn't feel that we had anything in common, even though we were all Virgos. And this idea that, there's 12 signs of the zodiac, so 1/12 of the population are going to be alike. It didn't make really any logical sense to me. So when I was younger and all I knew of astrology was sun signs, I kind of thought it was nonsense. And then that was it, really. That was the end of my relationship with astrology. Although throughout my teens and 20s, I definitely was interested in a lot of esoteric things. I was really interested in Eastern, particularly Indian, religions and philosophies and beliefs, was really interested in the idea of karma and reincarnation, was really a bit of a hippie and into a lot of alternative things and alternative music earlier in my life. But then in my 20s, I became a bit mainstream, let's say, and I lived a very, very regular life as a school teacher in the UK. I had kids, I was married, I had pets, and I lived quite a happy and fulfilling life in which I didn't feel there was any need or space for spirituality and esoterica. And then, as often happens with people, it was a kind of a crisis point in my life which led me to discover and connect with astrology on a deep level. It often happens that people have some kind of personal tragedy or crisis, and that's what leads them to discover some kind of new way of looking at the world or new system of belief or some kind of experience of illumination or enlightenment of some kind. And I guess that's kind of what happened with me. About 5 years ago, my marriage started to fail and I decided to leave for reasons which didn't make sense to anybody but myself, because the reasons were to do with deep instinctive feelings that I had, feelings that I was on the wrong path in my life and that I wasn't happy and I wasn't fulfilled. And this was a difficult thing to explain to people. And it was a difficult thing to explain to myself as well. And so astrology was one of a number of tools that I chose to employ at that time in my life to try to psychoanalyze myself. So I used plenty of psychoanalysis. That was kind of the starting point. And meditation, some hypnotherapy, yoga, trying to live more healthily, doing all kinds of different personality tests on myself. And then I found astrology. And I learned that astrology operates on many, 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 many different levels and on very, very deep levels. And what I thought I knew as a young person about being a Virgo and sun signs is just the absolute tip of the iceberg of what astrology actually is and how it works. And as I started to kind of uncover the layers of my birth chart and find out that, okay, the sun might have been in Virgo when I was born, but the moon was in Aries and Mars and Venus were in Leo and my ascendant was in Aquarius and Uranus and Jupiter were in Sagittarius and so on. And once I started to learn about what all of that actually means for me and my persona, everything just made sense and fell into place. And I started to understand things that I really hadn't been capable of understanding before.